As a kid, all a nigga wanna have was a Burberry scarf and $3 in my pocket. Instead I got beat with a switch, but I don't give a fuck, but it's on my body. Scars all up on me, but I run around from everybody. Life lesson learned, I better learn from this bitch, nobody. She pushed me around, she didn't give no motherfucks about it. She broke my heart 3 times, but I ain't getting...
The Jacksonville Jaguars currently possess the number 1 overall pick for the upcoming 2021 NFL Draft. And it is widely expected, if the Jacksonville Jaguars are able to hold on to the number 1 overall pick, that they will select Clemson quarterback Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is regarded as the best quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck. But hear me out. I think that the Jacksonville Jaguars would be better suited long term if they were to trade the number 1 overall pick, essentially trading away Trevor Lawrence, trading down and drafting Alabama quarterback and hometown kid Mac Jones. And before you dislike the video and go in the comment section and call me an idiot, put your keyboard down, listen to what I have to say for the next 3 to 4 minutes before you start yelling at me. The Jacksonville Jaguars currently have one of the worst rosters in the NFL. Yes, Trevor Lawrence is a great quarterback. He's expected to be the next great quarterback in the NFL. But Trevor Lawrence can't play defense. He can't play corner. He can't play D-line. He can't play safety. He can't play offensive line. The Jacksonville Jaguars have way more issues that they need to address aside from quarterback. And Trevor Lawrence is a great quarterback. He may be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. But at the end of the day, a quarterback is only as good as the talent that he has around him. For Trevor Lawrence to take the Jacksonville Jaguars to the Super Bowl, which is the end goal that every NFL team has before the NFL season begins, is to win a Super Bowl. One player can simply not carry a team to a Super Bowl. For a quarterback to get his team to the Super Bowl, he has to have a great team around him. Andrew Luck was able to take the Indianapolis Colts to the playoffs, but he was never able to get the Indianapolis Colts to the Super Bowl his first couple of years in the NFL. You want to know why? Because the Indianapolis Colts weren't a great team. The reason why Andrew Luck had so much success his first couple of years in the NFL for the Colts was because they played in the worst division in the NFL, which was the AFC South at the time. Trevor Lawrence isn't going to be able to have the success that Andrew Luck had his rookie season. He's not going to be able to take the Jacksonville Jaguars to the playoffs his rookie season because the Jacksonville Jaguars are playing in the AFC South that is more competitive than what Andrew Luck was matched up against his first couple of years, his rookie season. Andrew Luck's rookie season, he played the Texans, who weren't good, the Titans, who weren't good, and the Jacksonville Jaguars, who weren't good. Meanwhile, Trevor Lawrence got drafted number 1 overall by the Jacksonville Jaguars. He'll be playing the Tennessee Titans, who are on the brink of being Super Bowl contenders. He's going to have to face Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans whenever they get their head coaching situation taken care of. And they're going to have to face the Indianapolis Colts. So the Jacksonville Jaguars, regardless of if they draft Trevor Lawrence, they're still going to be arguably the worst team in this division. Therefore, the Jacksonville Jaguars would be better suited if they trade down, trade Trevor Lawrence, and get a bevy of draft picks and essentially some marquee players, build up this roster. By trading down, you're going to get more pieces to build your franchise up. And when you draft Mac Jones, he's going to have a great supporting cast around him. And with the new coaching staff is going to be able to have players that he's going to be able to develop, groom. In the next 2 to 3 years, the Jacksonville Jaguars could essentially become a Super Bowl contender. You see, in the NFL, the teams that go the furthest are not the teams that have the best quarterbacks. The best quarterbacks, most of the time, that make it to the Super Bowl are playing on good teams. So for Mac Jones getting drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars, first of all, it's going to sell tickets. The Jacksonville Jaguars have one of the lowest attendance numbers in the NFL, and they have over the last couple of years. So by drafting Mac Jones, that's going to sell tickets. People are going to want to come to support Mac Jones, who was born and raised in Jacksonville. Mac Jones played for Bowles High School in Jacksonville. He grew up his whole entire life in Jacksonville. So I'm pretty sure the city of Jacksonville, yeah, they may be upset that they didn't draft Trevor Lawrence, but I'm pretty sure that they will love and embrace the hometown kid in Mac Jones. On top of that, by giving Mac Jones a good team, okay, if you trade the number 1 overall pick, you're going to be able to acquire more picks, more marquee players. You're going to be able to draft better players. You're going to be able to improve the offensive line. You're going to be able to improve the secondary, which the Jacksonville Jaguars could add another great cornerback alongside of C.J. Henderson. You improve the secondary. You're going to be able to add another good safety. And you can improve the defensive line as well. You already have Caleb Vaughn, Chase, and Josh Allen. Now you can draft 2 more defensive linemen, and you have one of the best defensive lines in the NFL if you're able to develop those guys properly. So the Jacksonville Jaguars, by trading away the number 1 overall pick, trading down, acquiring more assets, and drafting Mac Jones, they have a more chance to be successful and a higher chance of being a Super Bowl contender than what they are with Trevor Lawrence. Now, I'm not saying that the Jacksonville Jaguars can never be a Super Bowl contender with Trevor Lawrence, but I'm saying that the Jacksonville Jaguars set themselves up for more long-term success overall because they took time out to build their roster up. You have your franchise quarterback in Mac Jones. You have a good team around Mac Jones. In the next 2 to 3 years, the Jacksonville Jaguars could potentially become the next dynasty in the NFL. Now, Trevor Lawrence, without a doubt, is going to be the better quarterback than Mac Jones. But just because you're the better quarterback doesn't mean you're going to have more success. You see, your success as a quarterback is dictated by the franchise you get drafted to and how much emphasis the franchise puts on surrounding you with the necessary pieces to be successful. Deshaun Watson is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Let me ask you a question. You want to know why Jimmy Garoppolo has had more postseason success, or why Jared Goff has had more postseason success than Deshaun Watson? Because he has a better team around him. Those guys have better coaches around them, better teams around them than what Deshaun Watson has. You see, Deshaun Watson has been carrying the Houston Texans on his back ever since his second year in the NFL, coming off the season-ending injury that he suffered his rookie season. But the reason why Deshaun Watson hasn't had the success in the postseason like guys like Carson Wentz, well, not Carson Wentz, but Jared Goff has been able to have, or Jimmy Garoppolo, is because he simply hasn't had the teams. Houston with Deshaun Watson has been the average team at best, which is why they always get bounced out in the first round of the playoffs. With Trevor Lawrence, yeah, Trevor Lawrence may be a good quarterback, but is he going to be enough to get the Jacksonville Jaguars to a Super Bowl by himself? No, the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to have to give Trevor Lawrence the necessary pieces around him for him to be successful. Therefore, by trading that number 1 overall pick, you can get a boatload of first-round draft picks for the next 4 years, get a lot of good players in return, and a lot of assets in the draft that you could go ahead, draft those players, develop those players, and essentially be a great team. So one player can simply not turn around an NFL franchise. Tanking does not work in the NFL. How long have the New York Jets been tanking for quarterbacks and tanking for draft picks just for them to become bust? Like, tanking is not the NBA. Tanking in the NFL does not work the same way it works in the NBA. In the NBA, you have 5 players. One player can make a huge impact in the NBA. But in the NFL is the ultimate team sport. Despite having the best quarterback in the NFL, you still can never win a Super Bowl. You want to know why? Because you won't have the necessary pieces around him for that quarterback to be successful. So if Jacksonville trades the number 1 overall pick and they get more assets and they draft Mac Jones, they're going to be better in the long term because they're going to have more players, more assets that they're going to be able to utilize and develop and become a very good team. They also have money in free agency to spend as well. So just because you're just this great quarterback doesn't mean you're going to be able to carry your team to the Super Bowl. At the end of the day, it comes down to who is the supporting cast. The Jacksonville Jaguars, if they trade away Trevor Lawrence and the number 1 overall pick, they could get a lot of draft picks. And I know I keep repeating this, but I just want you guys to get this locked down in your brain of what the Jacksonville Jaguars could do by trading down, drafting Mac Jones, and acquiring more assets. You put your team in a better position to be more good and the potential to be a Super Bowl contender long term than what you would do with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence at best could get you to the playoffs, but he never will get you to the Super Bowl by himself. Meanwhile, if you draft Mac Jones, which you trade down to acquire more picks, more assets, you could draft more players, develop those guys, and get them to the point that you end up in the next 2-4 years, you end up being the next Kansas City Chiefs or the next Miami Dolphins. You could be the next dynasty. You saw what the Miami Dolphins did when they were able to trade away players, get a lot of draft picks in return. They were able to build their team up, and essentially now they're a playoff caliber football team. One player can simply not turn around a franchise. So I think that the Jacksonville Jaguars would be better suited, as good as Trevor Lawrence looks. At the end of the day, you will be better in the long haul by trading away the number 1 overall pick, drafting Mac Jones, using what you acquired in the Trevor Lawrence trade, well, in the trade for the number 1 overall pick, utilizing those assets, drafting players, using those players to build around Mac Jones, and then essentially in the next 3-4 years, you can have a Super Bowl contender and be a dynasty for the next 5 to 8 years in the NFL. So let me know what you guys think about this down in the comment section down below. Make sure that you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos and content, and thanks for watching.